I'm giving thanks to freedom of speech if we still fucking know what that means. Now, given the right to speak freely, basically, give me the right to speak freely, and I'll defend yours. But those who disengage are the real threats to to democracy. One second. Um, Back in October of 1863, just 3 months after the Battle of Gettysburg, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed the fourth Thursday in November to be a national day of Thanksgiving. 159 years later, we celebrate it annually. Um, the Abraham Lincoln's proclamation harkened back to a similar effort from George Washington, just a few short years after the nation emerged from the Revolutionary War. The father of our country found the roots of his action in a famous meal that was shared by Puritans and Native Americans dating back to 1621. This national holiday has come to express sentiments many wish were seen every day, like giving thanks for the stuff that we have. There's no component of race or religion, and no one is excluded. Just sit down and give thanks for what you have, no matter how little or how much you have. Now today, we have much that we can be thankful for, no matter what we face from moronic politicians. The renewed threat of nuclear war, daily occurrences of mass shootings, a global pandemic, and countless other tripudiations. Now, of the many things for which I give thanks, it's the right to speak my mind, and I hold that most dear. I need it. I need it just to be clear out of the cobwebs, to clear out the cobwebs. Now give me the right to speak freely about what I believe above all other liberties. Now, in turn, I may disagree with what you have to say, but I would defend to the death your right to fucking say it even if I don't agree with you. I am thankful for all who understand and exercise this fucking right. Now, you may hate me, and you may say so, but you can lick Donald Trump's nuts all you want, but tell me how much you love his racism, his misogyny, and his preaching about the virtues of diet heavy with lard and fat, and proclaiming the manifest necessity of burning fossil fuels without filters for all eternity. Um, I will accept your right to say what you believe, though there is no doubt that I will disagree with you, and with every fiber of my being. I will not accept speech that calls for violence against others or myself, but nor will I accept the speech of someone screaming fire in a crowded theater when one doesn't exist. Now, otherwise, let it all out, and that's the spirit behind free speech. The free speech part is enshrined in our Constitution as the First Amendment, and people often forget what it actually means. I've had personal experience on this matter, and I am thankful to understand exactly what the First Amendment means. Now, the government, with a few limited exceptions, and I've already outlined it, cannot interfere in your right to speak your mind, and people have gone to jail for speaking their mind and for defending that right. Now, today, there are many people who are convinced that being bounced from privately owned social media platforms is a violation of your First Amendment right, and further on, they believe that when a private individual or corporation in effect tells you to shut up, that is also a violation of your First Amendment rights, and this is not true. Now, while some of those same people believe that Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter is a further erosion of the First Amendment, it is not. Elon is a cretin, a poltroon, and has the same type of ego, and has a fragile ego like Donald Trump. He spent far too much money for Twitter, and his haircut is atrocious, but he's not violating anyone's First Amendment rights, and those who are leaving Twitter because he took over are merely stupid for retreating from the social media platform. Now stay engaged and be a part of the conversation. Now, now those and now and now those of the people who don't engage, to my mind, are showing us why the spirit behind the First Amendment is in deep shit. We have abandoned the idea that we will listen to the words of others who think differently than us. Now, in the movie The American President, Michael Douglas puts his line this way: "You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, and who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours." Now, the movie is pure fiction, as it turns out today. So is the sentiment, but in reality, both sides of the political spectrum want to erase or eradicate those who think differently than you. Um, Now, those on the right through the agents of chaos well known to us all, have taken to violence to suppress those who think differently. Now, hell, you can't even get that side of the aisle. You can't even get that side of the aisle to admit the legitimate results of an election. And those on the other extreme, really want to cancel you. They just want you to cease, desist, and disappear, or they're going to take their bull and go home, or to a safer social media space. Now, both sides signal their virtues with hollow words about patriotism, God, the fake God that lives in the sky, or love of the country. But none of them have the slightest idea what they're fucking talking about. Now, again, a violation of your First Amendment rights only occurs when the government tries to suppress you. Now, breaking up peaceful protests, jailing reporters who won't divulge confidential sources, and charging whistleblowers under a variety of statutes, those are violations of the First Amendment. Getting banned or walking away from Twitter because you don't like the fucking owner is not even fucking close to violating your First Amendment rights. So I am thankful. So I also remain thankful that the Constitution still exists in written form, and not just in a computer somewhere or bouncing around on cloud storage on the internet where it can be hacked or otherwise changed. As frightening as it is to see the right take to the destruction of free speech, it's just frightening to see those who call themselves liberal abandoning the ideals of free speech, especially since it is progressives who have been persecuted the most across the annals of history for daring to speak out against the blatherings of politicians, theocrats, deists, fascists, and other narrow-minded trolls. Now, those who threaten violence in the name of liberalism, and those who want to wade into the gutter of human interaction and slice throats in the name of enlightenment are no different to me than those who do so in the name of their favorite politician, a fictional god or celebrity. And none of these people embrace the ability to listen to others who think differently from themselves. So, like I said, I am thankful when I find others truly capable of free thought and free speech, and for nothing will ever change by suppressing the voices of those who deem to be ignorant or unworthy. Now, nothing is to be gained by slitting throats. The blade cuts both ways, but the ignorance lies in us all, particularly when we fail to listen and learn from our fellow human beings. Now, our advancement in technology has given us all of the ability to be heard, and while it's truly frightening to hear some of the bilge that parades itself as knowledge, we should make an effort to understand where the sewage began to flow. The only true way out of the quagmire of this technological feudalism into which we plunged ourselves is by following the sewage to the source. It's the only way to make a change. So I want to know what you guys think. I am thankful when they tell me, but I'd rather know you're a racist and the reasons behind your thoughts than having to guess. Donald Trump has enabled and emboldened the darkest of human desires. His former attorney, Michael Cohen, has said that Trump often appeals to the darkness in men's souls, but he's also given them the freedom to voice those dark desires. And while I despise all of that, I cannot deny that I'm thankful for knowing exactly where I stand with these people. I cannot say I care too much about their opinions, but understanding their thoughts, if any actually exists, gives me information I can use in my own life. Now, I'm not trying to change your mind if I don't know what's on your mind, but if you throw your hands up in the air and say, well, you just can't change people's minds, I want to know if you're speaking about others or yourself, and I venture that in some cases it is both. Now, I am thankful for the Republican Party and all of the enablers from the Boberts who offer thoughts and prayers for the victims of gun violence while celebrating the proliferations of weaponry that make those deaths probable, and to the mendacity of someone like Lindsey Graham, who once said that if the GOP nominated Trump, it would be the end of the party and it would be well-deserved. He prays at the altar of Trump now, but we also know that no matter how much Republicans speak against him, in the end, they will fall in line behind him. And far from stifling them, I encourage them to speak. The rest of us need a fucking laugh and we can truly see them for the fucking retards that they really are. Now, keeping them quiet doesn't work, but without seeing them in full daylight, some have gotten the idea that there is some legitimacy to what those in maggot world have to say. The open market of ideas removes the aura of legitimacy. Now, Maya Angelou, the poet, once said, "When someone shows you who they really are, then believe them the first time." I am thankful for her, and I am reminded that without free speech, we might not know who some of the worst offenders against humanity are. Violence, chaos, and fascism are things that grow in the dark, and stifling speech is never a recipe for a peaceful society. As ugly and chaotic as it may be, it is always beneficial to hear what someone else thinks, no matter how much we may hate what they have to say. When we refuse to hear others, we run the risk of validating the emotions and beliefs that run counter to reality, and that may lead to feelings of being bullied and shunned. A person can feel isolated and become angry, and we all know the balance that can grow out of such scenarios. Um, um, so again, I am thankful that at least we have the First Amendment is superior to how many of us act socially and one of the deepest roots of not only a solid democracy but a mature and rational society. Now, my wish is that more people embrace the genuine ideals of free speech, so we can all be more thankful, more peaceful, and mature. So I wasn't here on Thanksgiving, but even though that was like a couple weeks ago, I hope everybody had enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I was actually at a friend's house. But if you liked the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube, and for just as little as a few bucks a month, your donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.